In case you don't already know me, my name is Ellie from Cognitive Cardio Math, and I'm so happy to be here with you. I have been in education since 1992 and have taught math at 2nd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade, and 6th grade levels. Today we're going to chat about taking notes in math class and how we can make that something students enjoy if they don't already enjoy it, by using math wheels to get them more engaged and help them better retain the information and meet their math potential. Math wheels can be used at any grade level, so as we go through this session, start thinking about what topics you might use them for with your students. Now, when I was a student, many of my notes were all written out by hand or were fill in the blank. We didn't have the digital option. My mind would wander a little bit when I was taking notes during lectures, and I would draw little circular doodle designs or cubes in the margins of my pages, like you can see here. And then I'd color them in different ways, like with these stripes and polka dots, that kind of thing, and that helped me focus. And interestingly, when I would try to recall something from my notes, I'd often be able to picture what was on the page near those doodles. Did that ever happen to you? So in this session, we're going to look at a little bit of research about that doodling in the context of taking notes. We'll talk about what math wheels are with a quick overview in case you haven't seen them before. We'll do a quick summary of some note-taking research. We'll touch on the benefits of using the math wheels at different grade levels. We'll look at how math wheels can help develop some of students' executive function skills. And we'll also chat about the different ways you can use math wheels in centers, for intervention, as anchor charts, and more. Let's start by looking at what math wheels are, in case you aren't familiar with them yet. Math wheels are a type of graphic organizer to make note-taking more interesting and engaging for students. We do need students to take notes and have examples to refer to. So why not make that process as engaging as possible? This method of taking notes helps students organize the information a little bit differently into sections, with different sections for vocabulary, separate key concepts, or even steps of a process. The wheels make the notes more memorable and give students a chance to practice the concepts right there on the notes page. You can see in this picture that there are practice problems in the pattern around the wheel, and you could use that as guided or independent practice. The wheels can then be used to study for assessments, and then they can be kept in students' notebooks or binders throughout the year as a reference tool. The math wheels can even be enlarged and used as posters or anchor charts. Many teachers have shared with me that their upper elementary and middle school students love adding their notes and visual cues to the wheels, and that these notes are the first thing students pull out of their notebooks for reference. As we go through the session, you'll see several different wheel examples just to give you an idea of different ways to use the wheels, how concepts can be broken down for students using the wheels, and to help you generate ideas for how you might use or create your wheels for your own classroom. So let's jump into a few ways we can use the wheels. We can use the wheels to organize any information. As I mentioned, you can use them for vocabulary for a unit, and you can use a different number of sections depending on how many terms you have. Students can add definitions and examples. In this properties wheel, we have commutative, associative, distributive, and the identity properties. Each section defines a property and gives examples using both numbers and letters. So this wheel is more of a definition and example wheel. On this wheel, the sections around the wheel that have the practice problems in them are colored according to which property is being used. So if the answer is commutative, the section is colored green, and I made my commutative notes green to match that. Associative answers are colored blue, and my associative notes are blue, and so on. So with some concepts, that you might make a wheel for, you can also make the coloring part of the practice problems color-coded, and that makes it really easy to check students' answers. You can use the wheels to teach the steps of a process. This wheel shows the steps for solving multi-step equations, and you can include an example with each step showing the work for that particular step of that example. This wheel has 2 examples that carry through each step, so when students go back to refer to the wheel when they want to check how to do the process, they can see the steps in the headings and then look at the examples for more explanation. Some math concepts can be taught different ways, so you might use the wheels to organize the different methods. For example, I teach GCF and LCM a couple different ways, so these wheels include the definition of GCF and LCM, 2 ways to find them, and then a word problem example to show how the concepts can be applied in a word problem situation. There are so many ways to create these wheels. You'll notice all of the wheels are very colorful and have some visuals. Why should we bother with the color parts and thinking about different visuals that we could add? Well, there is research out there that talks about how doodling and images help students retain information. One article from EdWeek discusses the idea that doodling is a way to connect images with information, which creates memory triggers for students and helps them remember information better. This is so much more memorable than taking notes on a tablet or a computer. A 2016 study by Wamis, Mead, and Fernandez states that compared with writing alone, adding drawings to notes to represent concepts, terms, and relationships has a significant effect on memory and learning. In this measurement wheel that's pictured here, which is upside down, you can see that I have a big G to represent gallons. You might be familiar with the big G. Inside the G are 4 Q's to represent 4 quarts in a gallon. In each Q there are 2 P's for pints, and in each P there are 2 C's for cups. Students can use this image to help them remember which of the units is greatest and which is smallest, as well as how many of each unit are in another. Some images in the wheels can be more detailed like this one, and others might be very simple. The EdWeek article also cites a study about the benefits of handwriting notes rather than typing them. The study indicates that students learn more and retain information longer if they write their notes by hand. And it states that capturing important ideas by hand, whether writing words or creating images, stimulates the neural pathways between motor, visual, and cognitive skills. The article also states that writing and drawing images can make us smarter. Another bit of research that supports using color and doodling is dual coding theory, which was first put forth in 1971. Now there's a lot of information about this out there, so you can check out more if you're interested, but the main idea is that graphic or visual input and linguistic or verbal input are stored in 2 completely different areas of the brain. The right hemisphere is the visual part, and the processing there is nonverbal. And the left side is the linguistic or logical part. This processing is verbal. The 2 sets of information are processed independently in short-term memory, but we want math concepts in long-term memory. So the theory says that we can increase the chances of information being retained and converted to long-term memory by building connections between the 2. When we can activate both the right and left hemispheres of the brain at the same time, the 2 hemispheres communicate across the corpus callosum. And when that happens, the brain is better able to remember the material, which in our case is the math concept. I have read quite a few math teacher comments recently about students not remembering concepts or processes, and perhaps using some different note-taking methods that include color and visuals will help students' memories. So taking this research into account, and so much more research out there that we don't have time to cover today, thinking about all that research, we can see that math wheels include the written notes, they include the pictures, depending on the concepts. Again, some concepts lend themselves more readily to images. They include color to create color coding. They can include doodles or little sketches that students might generate that might not be a picture, but it could be a certain word doodled in a certain way, something like that that helps students remember the idea. You can see, for example, on this circles wheel, in the circumference section, I have the circumference formula written around the outside of the circle. The area formula is written on the inside of the circle. The simple difference is, there's the area in the inside of the circle, and the simple difference in the location of the formulas in the notes can help with students' understanding and recall. So color is a big part of this, and students can add color to their notes in different ways, and it will likely be different on different wheels. In some cases, they might use color to highlight certain notes. In other cases, they might use color coding. For example, in this divisibility rules wheel, the key parts of a rule, the statement about the rule, are the same color as the number. So if we look at 5, that rule says that numbers that end in 0 or 5 are divisible by 5. So the big 5 in that section is orange, and the 0 and 5 in the rule are orange. For 10, the 10 is blue, and the 0 for ends in 0 is also blue. These are just small things, but they're small things that can help. I don't know about you, but back in my test-taking days, I often remembered facts by visualizing where the information was on the page. If I had been using notes like these, those visuals would have been so much clearer and easier to remember if they had color or images to help me. Now, students do get to color the background of these wheels if they want to. I know some teachers worry about the amount of time coloring the background might take, but it doesn't have to be part of the instructional time, and students don't have to color the entire background. They might leave some parts white or even color the sections with different patterns, like the stripes or polka dots that I used to color my doodles with. Students might even add some extra notes or visuals in the sections of the background pattern if they don't have practice problems in those sections. If students do color the background though, they get the benefits of coloring as part of their day. In general, the wheels offer students an opportunity to be creative in math class while using color and visuals to help them learn and retain the concepts. Just like other math notes, the wheels can be used to develop understanding of concepts. We're not just trying to come up with tricky ways to remember processes. This adding and subtracting fractions wheel has sections that talk about the meaning of adding and subtracting, and then build on that by using fraction strips and number lines. Are you starting to think about how you might use wheels with a certain topic? Let's take a brief look at how using the math wheels can be helpful at different grade levels, so you can think about how using the wheels might benefit your students. And I won't spend too long on any one grade level, since every grade level likely does not apply to you. We'll start with third grade. As students enter third grade, they make a transition that includes learning how to learn. They aren't considered primary students anymore, and the rigor and expectations on them start to increase. So this is a great time for them to learn how to take some notes, especially in a unique way that will tap into both sides of their brains. The notes don't have to be lengthy and super detailed, but giving students an engaging way to organize their notes and teaching them a bit about using color and visuals can set them up for success, not just in math, but in other subject areas that will also require note-taking. In 4th and 5th grades, students are becoming increasingly independent, their attention span is increasing, we hope, and their organizational skills are developing. Using the math wheels gives them a little more independence with their notes. They can color code and design their notes a little differently to help them remember concepts. And as their attention spans increase, They can attend to taking notes for a longer period of time. With the engagement Math Wheels provide, they help students stay focused longer and potentially help increase their attention span. As 4th and 5th graders are developmentally more ready to learn to organize, the wheels help them understand different ways that they can organize their math information. Students do move from needing concrete examples to needing representation to the abstract of numbers and notations at different rates from one another. The Math Wheels offer the opportunity to include those different representations with their notes and their examples if they need them. As 5th graders transition into 6th grade, we see more shifts in their characteristics as learners. They may have more confidence and independence. Many of them are becoming more social. They may want to make their own decisions and take on more ownership in their learning process. Students may also experience more stress at this grade level as they're adjusting maybe to a new school, perhaps switching from more classes than previous years, and are feeling more challenged by math concepts. They may even be feeling unprepared for 6th grade math or concerned that other students know more than they do. Incorporating the Math Wheels into 6th grade can help create a safe environment for those social emotional needs. Having an opportunity in your class to approach math concepts in a creative but structured way can help your students relax and see math as a little less threatening. When students relax, they can absorb the content and take more risks in their learning. And for those students who are higher level, the Math Wheels offer the opportunity to add more examples and more details, and maybe even some enrichment type notes. As students head into 7th grade and beyond, math topics and the notes for them typically become more complex, and this is where Wheels can help break down those concepts into more manageable chunks. Students' abstract thinking increases in general, but some may still need the added visuals, and the Wheels can be very helpful here, allowing students to personalize their Wheels and add the visuals they need, plus the visuals that you want to include. With their increased independence and ability to break things down themselves, older students may even be able to create and design their own wheels in a way that makes the most sense to them. Now, there are students at most every grade level who seem to have trouble with organization, breaking things down, and staying focused. Sometimes we think students just need to work harder or be more serious about their math work. But it could be that students don't have strong executive function skills. These are skills like planning and organization, focus and attention, self-regulation, and problem solving and flexibility. Math Wheels can be an excellent tool to help your students who may be struggling with their executive function skills because they break down the targeted math skill into more bite-sized chunks of instruction. Math Wheels provide a structured framework for organizing information. With the sections neatly divided, students can better manage complex math concepts and stay on track. Plus, they aren't writing paragraphs of notes. They're writing short phrases or filling in the blanks and then applying the step or direction immediately with examples. The interactive nature of Math Wheels helps capture students' attention and keep them engaged. By incorporating elements like doodling and coloring, Math Wheels promote sustained focus and concentration. That is a win-win for mastering math skills. As students tackle practice problems and apply the key concepts, they engage in strategic planning and problem solving. This approach helps develop critical thinking skills and enhances students' ability to conquer math challenges with confidence. And then they practice using a tool, the Math Wheel, to assist them by using these notes as references throughout the year. Math Wheels are also a great tool for intervention if you've got specific skills that certain students are struggling with, even concepts they should have learned in previous years. You can grab or create a Math Wheel for that topic and use it with a small group. Using the wheels with small groups can invite even more discussion about the topic and the notes. It can allow time for students to share what visuals they might add or what they might highlight or underline that will help them best remember the concept. And this might be the approach that gives them their aha moments. When they've got the wheel and its color and its visuals in their notebooks to refer to throughout the year, that can then remind them of those aha moments and make that math concept more memorable. While Math Wheels are a note-taking graphic organizer, they provide a low-pressure approach to math intervention, and students typically feel a little less stress when they get to add color and do a little doodling, which frees their minds a bit and opens them up to the learning. So a few other ways that you can use the wheels in the classroom is, first of all, for whole class instruction as you're teaching the concept. You can do an enlarged poster or anchor chart, throw that up on the board, and then as you're taking notes, it gives students a guide for where their notes are going to go if you do it whole class. You could use the wheels as a center activity, which could be teacher guided, or it could be a center where students fill in the wheel as a review session. Or one center could be using their wheels to quiz each other if there's an upcoming assessment. And then again, students can keep these throughout the year to refer to whenever they need them. In using these types of notes, whether you use Math Wheels or use something else that incorporates the color and the imagery and the text, not only are we tapping into the powerful impact of that combination, we're also getting students really engaged in taking notes. Not only do their brains love the imagery and the color and the text combination, but students do as well. So many teachers have told me that their students are very highly engaged and enjoying taking notes on their wheels. One of the nice things about having students add their own personal memory devices to their wheels is that those students who write more quickly will just have more time to add extra touches to their notes, and they're not sitting there getting bored waiting to move on. If you're thinking about using Math Wheels or any kind of wheel, you can use them for just about any topic, even more general topics, and in other subject areas. You can use them for problem solving. You can include different strategies and short examples. You can use them for test-taking strategies to give students strategies to come back to all year long. You can use them for math talk, for getting to know you, and even for classroom expectations. Now, wheels like these wouldn't have practice problems around the outside, but you could add other things in the background, like the class expectation wheels has things like do your best, persevere, dream big, take risks, and that kind of thing. If you don't want to create your own wheels or feel like you just don't have time right now, but you do want to use them, I have over 100 different wheels in my TPT shop for topics from 3rd to 7th grades. And I have a few 8th grade wheels with more coming soon, as well as some other general types of wheels like the ones I showed you with the class expectations and math talk. So feel free to check those out. I hope you will try to create some wheels or at least incorporate some of today's ideas into your current note-taking practice, whether it's having students add color or doodles or drawings, whatever might help them to be more engaged with their math notes. For more content about teaching math, head to my blog at cognitivecardiomath.com, and for resources, head to the TPT shop. If you're looking for ideas about anything middle school related, check out the podcast I host with my friend Brittany, the Teaching Toolbox Podcast. If you have any questions about Math Wheels or anything else, you can email me at ellie@cognitivecardiomath.com, and you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Cognitive Cardio Math. Have a great day.